today I'm going to teach you how to put a CAW object on a wrestler. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Creator Studio Samoa Joe shorts, these ones in front of you, onto Samoa Joe right now. The reason I'm doing this is because the current default game, Samoa Joe, his shorts do not have physics. This is obviously an oversight from 2K. There is collateral damage here. Unfortunately, Samoa Joe does have physics on his towel for his entrance. As of this video right now, there is no way to combine two physics objects. But I have taken a look at the new format. It does look possible to combine, so there is hope. But right now, just bear it in mind when you're adding anything related to physics to a wrestler. So what you're going to need to do is open up the baked file 01 or 02. The Creator Studio parts are in two separate cake files, and you will need to look through the CAS folder for the object that you want. Currently there is no library like there was in 2K19 to tell you which ID is what object, so you're gonna have to manually go through and find the one that you want. This is being worked on. There is members of the community that are working on this to make it easier. So I've gone ahead and found Samoa Joe's. If you want to see what number pertains to what object as you're flicking through, select one of the folders and click 00.text, and it'll show the icon from the game. So what I've done is I've extracted Samoa Joe's base model, his default attire, and I've extracted all of this in the CAW folder. So each one of these, including the textures as well, because you will need them later on. So you will be presented with something like this if you're following the tutorial. If you're doing it with your own wrestler, all you'll need to do is just extract the CAW part and add it to your existing mod. So we go to Blender. I've already imported Samoa Joe's base model. Now we need to import his attire. So as I was talking about earlier, you have your default towel, which is the normal mesh. Then you have one below it, which is like a low res version of it. This is the collision. It's used with the physics simulation. So depending on how closer it is to the body, it'll be how much it interacts or gets closer to the body through the physics simulation. I'm gonna just disable, I'm just gonna delete them actually, because it's not necessary for this tutorial. Let's get rid of that. I'll also take off the shirt just for tutorial purposes. So we have the default Samoa Joe shorts, and as you can see there's no low res version because there's no physics. I'm going to delete that. Now I'm going to import the CAW object, which is this, and you'll notice that the positions are all off. This is because it's obviously not scaled to the actual mesh. Very easy process now. This is where the modding experience comes in. You'll see that there are two objects, and if we flick up the vertex groups, and you'll see that M bottom and S bottom. The S bottom is the physics, as you can see here. What you're going to need to do now is you're going to have to align it to your character. This is just basic character modeling. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. If you want to move the physics object with your actual mesh, just select both of them like this, then go into edit mode and begin your editing. Alright, once you've done that, this is obviously a quick edit, it's rushed just for tutorial purposes, just so you can actually see it in game. There is a nice plugin available for Blender called Code Wrangler, and what this will do is it will map the textures to a material, so you don't have to manually set them all up. I'll give you an example of that now. So if we go to shading and we just hide the physics one from earlier because we don't want that one. Select your object, click new, and if you have the plugin installed, what you need to do is select the actual node here, the principled, do Control Shift T, locate towards your core object, go to textures, set the color, the metal, the normal, and the roughness, and you'll see it's mapped all nicely for you. This is especially useful if you're doing loads of textures and loads of edits. You need to name your textures something that it can understand. So like NRM, it'll understand as normal. Roughness, everything like that. Any texture that you have, it will map it to one of these nodes. So this, again, yes, it makes it very easy to mod. As you can see, it's got a big booty. I don't really care. Okay, so the next step is if your character has physics, which we do in this case, you need to go to your core object location where you extracted all the meshes. You will need to select the YCL file, copy it into your mod folder directory. You need to rename this to 579 underscore attire, or else it won't work. You're basically matching the name and the folder structure from Samoa Joe. Once that's done, go back to the Blender. Now this is the fun part. Select both of these objects, do Alt P, click clear, and keep transformation. You can delete all that other junk. Then pull down the attire. Select both of the objects, do Control, click skeleton, right click, object parent. Once that's done, just drag them in. Rename the bottoms because the names will be strange. So do bottoms, double dot, skinned. The default material can be fine, don't need to change that as long as it's got the S bottoms here matching the physics, and the M bottoms should be fine. So you don't need to do any type of weight painting, it's already done because of the way Blender works. The weights are all done through vertex groups. It's very easy to snap a core object onto another one without any issues. It's quite nice. So now we select all the objects, file, export, locate to our mod directory that we're working with, and we will do 579. That's Alright, so the next step is to do the textures. I have another tutorial for this. I'm not going to do it in this one because the textures for Samoa Joe's shorts are very similar. The UVs are all the same. I'm going to go ahead and bake. And as you can see, his shorts are now physics. You'll see now there's clipping inside the pant leg. This is that collision mesh that I was talking about before. If you push it inside more closer to the leg, you won't have this clipping issue. I will do this right now. Okay, so back in Blender, what we're going to do is we're going to push the physics collision just a little bit more further towards the body of Samoa Joe. And we'll do another process of exporting and baking. And as you can see, the physics are a lot better. The clippings disappeared. You'll get used to this process. You might need to apply the same logic for other meshes such as jackets. But yes, it adds nice flavour to your character mod. Alright lads, thanks.